And I took a look at the LinkedIn profile on him. There's 959 professionals on LinkedIn with the name of Jonathan Adams. Only one is about to receive the coveted Industry Achievement Award from AdTech. Now, I thought what I could do is actually, I could give you his bio, or I could actually give you a little bit of the Q&A that I did with him backstage a little while ago, and give you some insight into some very, very important issues that he's thinking about. For instance, we all know that Pitchageddon just took place over the last year and a half or so. So I asked him, how many times do you think you've done an agency pitch? He said, without a doubt, he's done 300 client pitches, but most importantly, he's met with 3,300 of us reps, which tells me that he's a man of the people. I asked him another very important question. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat? Everybody wants to know what's your go-to. Nice answers there. Instagram to see his kids, Facebook to see his friends, Twitter to see his heroes, and Snapchat to see where we're going. I thought that was pretty brilliant. Speaking of heroes, of course I had to ask him who's his favorite superhero. Superman. At the age of 8 in 1977, his CB radio handle was, wait for it, Man of Steel. Enough said. So right there, that tells me a lot about this early marketer and communicator, because in 1977, he had a CB radio. We've heard a lot from brand marketers today. What, in his opinion, is at the core of getting attention in a media-fragmented, multitasking, always-on, ad-blocking world? He simply says, be of value, be part of the solution, not the problem. I think we can all take those words to heart. What's the one question you've never been asked that you wish someone would ask you? And his was, would you mind taking my yacht to Italy this summer? Now, when you're wishing. And then I asked him, because I've known this man for a very long time, how long have we known each other? Was it the late 90s? And he said, yes, 1997. And then he threw in a plug, which was, same year I went to my first AdTech, to give you an idea of how many times this guy's been to AdTech and been to our industry events. So ladies and gentlemen, I bring out a very passionate digital marketing executive, a proud father, a very happy husband, very proud to call him my friend, the Chief Digital Officer for Maxis, and current day superhero, the marketer of steel, Jonathan Adams.
How do you top an entry like that? Thanks so much for having me. This is an incredible honor. I am thrilled to be here. As Scott said, I've been affiliated with AdTech for many years. I'm going to start by just saying congratulations to the other winners. So Sheila is an old friend of mine, Tim, who is getting his tomorrow, is a good friend, and Nada, who I hope to get to know better. Amazing company, and the company, the people that have earned this before in the past, really set the bar, so not an easy bar to hit. This is an award that sort of acknowledges time spent and an ability to give back to the industry. I couldn't have done either without my partner in crime, Karen, who's here today. It's funny, we've been married 21 years, and if you don't have, and I'll talk about this again in a few minutes, a foundation outside of work, you're not of any value in work. So I'll talk about that in a second. But if you know me, I love telling stories, so I'm going to tell a quick story. Couldn't resist. My college nickname was Storyteller, so it seems to fit. So back in 1997, I was just new at the agency Ogilvy One. In fact, it wasn't even named Ogilvy One yet. I'd just been added to the IBM account, and I was in this exciting new digital industry. I had found my way into it as a programmer. I wanted to get into it more, and started to hear about this conference called AdTech. It started in San Francisco, and the second one was in Los Angeles. I'm here in New York. So I had to get approval to go. Big deal for a young supervisor on the IBM account. Flew to the West Coast, saw my friends, started checking in, and realized I had gone all the way to the conference and had not registered. I had a registration for the floor show, but not for any of the panels or keynotes. I wasn't going to see anything. I'd gone all this way, and I would have wasted it. I couldn't tell my new boss at the time, which was Susan Sheethofer, who we all work with now, who Ben and love. So I what am I going to do? So I found my friend, Christine Cook, from the New York Times, who now is at Flipboard, was kind enough to comp my badge at the time. I shadowed her team at the New York Times for a few days and had an amazing, amazing experience. I'm not sure what the ROI is on 20 years of friendship and partnership, but I'm sure we're still friends, and I'm really proud of that relationship. Disclaimer that comping $1,000 show pass is not in Group M policies today, so I could not do that. But that said, it was an amazing experience, and that friendship sort of is a great example of how relationships are born in the ad tech business, and not just as an industry, but also as a family, which I think we all can agree. So I wanted to share the body of my comments today. I really about what it's like to have a split personality in our business. I think a split personality can help you make friends, influence people, and generally survive and thrive in this crazy, crazy business. So how does that play out? You really need three of you, I'm convinced. You need the work you. This is the person your boss hired, the job your boss wants you to do. The personal you, which is the person you have outside the office, the one that loves running in the rain and going for drinks with your friends on Thursdays. And then there's the industry you, the one that sees a need, works on the terms and conditions that need to get done, understands what viewability is, helps set up a conference, helps in any way they can to keep the industry moving. I'm convinced you need all three. And by the way, in the third group, you can be networking your butt off the whole time, and that's great. But the truth is, at some point in your career, you are going to desperately need 2 out of 3 of those groups to hold you up when something happens. I lost my mother a few years ago, and I had 50 people in my house that didn't even realize that my personal network outside of work had been so strong. Who knew it was there for me when I needed it? When something happens in your industry and you lose your job or something like that, guess what? You start making phone calls and it comes back to support you. It's crucial that you start building these 3 parts of yourself in order to see a long career ahead of you. So, one of the things I'm passionate about is giving back and mentoring. I learned a few years ago, I've been mentoring since the 90s when I was actually at Ogilvy. So I have a few tips around mentoring and that I give to my mentees. So I'll run through these. Sheila's were awesome as well. I don't think we have any that overlap. So first things first, love what you do, or find another job. Shut up and listen. You're not as smart as you think you are. Sit in the front row and ask one great question. There are no distractions in the front row, by the way. Good job, you guys. Learn one thing from every manager you've ever worked for and be able to cite what it is on demand. Get a mentee, be a mentee. It keeps your mind young forever. I've certainly been proven that. Do your homework, be the smartest person in the room. Understand how the person sitting across from you is motivated and rewarded. It'll change every negotiation you ever have. See a hole, fill a hole. Have an industry opinion. Be part of the solution. Our industry has plenty of work to do. If you attended the ANA last week, you know that our industry needs attention. If you attend any